Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. John Owen talks about sports and movies. Thank you for checking out today's video. Let's get into it. The fact that I even have to make this video is just heartbreaking, and I just can't wait for 2020 to be over, to be completely honest. After a excuse me. After a 4-year fight with colon cancer that he pretty much kept secret to the entire world, which is shocking and honestly very impressive. Chadwick Boseman, who starred in movies like Black Panther and 42, sadly passed away last Friday at the young age of 42. And it's just really sad, just because anytime anybody dies, it's just the absolute worst. But especially when someone is big as a person and as important as Chadwick was to a lot of different people. And so today this video is just in remembrance of him as a king and as an icon. So Chadwick Boseman, he's been in a lot of different movies. I've actually seen the majority of the movies in his little filmography. And most of his roles are, prominent black figures and African Americans. Mainly like movies like 42 and Marshall. In 42 he's Jackie Robinson, who's obviously one of the most important athletes of all time, as he broke the segregation barrier in the MLB. And Marshall, where he's, excuse me if I pronounce this wrong, Thuggeroo Marshall, who's a defense lawyer and for the NCPA in Connecticut and everything like that. These big time, biopic roles, and he kills it in both of those movies. But I think obviously, I best know him for his role as Black Panther in the MCU. In movies like Civil War, Black Panther, Infinity War, and Endgame, he really brought a charisma to the character that was unmatched. Really made him super likable. Was honestly just a perfect casting. I mean, the MCU doesn't miss on casting, so I wouldn't expect anything less. But I think really what stands Chadwick Boseman apart from maybe some other unfortunate deaths this year is just his cultural importance. I'm not talking about Kobe, because I feel like Chadwick and Kobe are on the same level as far as inspirational, but he, especially after becoming Black Panther in the Black Panther movie, he just represented a lot of people, as someone who's not African American. I just really like Chadwick because he is a fantastic person. He is a great guy. People behind the Marvel sets said he's an absolute gem to work with. He's passionate, he's kind, he's caring. He's just an overall great person, and something we should all strive to be like. But for a lot of people, Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther allows them to project themselves onto his character because he looks like them. For me, that's not something I really have to think about, because, there's the majority of superheroes and mainstream blockbuster characters are white, and so, that's not really something I have to think about. And representation is important, because everyone should get a shot at feeling like they are important, and whatever group they belong to is important. And so to have Black Panther as this super mainstream superhero was important to a lot of people. That's why that movie, Black Panther, was so socially important. Was it the best MCU movie ever? No. But just from a cultural standpoint, from an importance standpoint, unmatched. I mean, it really was it was more than a movie. It was a movement. The hype around Black Panther, I think, honestly, really bolstered the MCU to what it is today. Because Black Panther got a lot of different people that hadn't seen an MCU movie and got them in the theater. And, you know, when you make $1.3 billion at the box office, that means you got a lot of people there. And I think the reason that movie continued to be so important after its release and everything like that, just because of how good Chadwick was in the role. He really captured the essence of the character, this kind of stoic but charming fashion, and he's just absolutely awesome. And I think the hype for Black Panther really allowed Infinity War and Endgame to make as much money as they did. You know, if Black Panther wasn't maybe as hyped up as it was, you know, maybe Infinity War only, you know, doesn't cross the $2 billion mark like it easily crushed. And then if Infinity War does it, I don't know if Endgame crosses, you know, its highest grossing movie ever, you know, just because not as people when it's on Infinity War, not as many people will go see Endgame. But definitely, you know, Black Panther and Infinity War were released within a couple months of each other, so the hype train just kind of pushed over from Black Panther into Infinity War onto Endgame. And I think Black Panther, you know, has a lot to do with how financially successful Infinity War and Endgame were. I think that they would have been box office smash hits anyways, but I honestly think Black Panther helped both of those increase even way more. I mean, I'm sure Infinity War probably would hit the $1.7 billion mark, but the hype for Black Panther right before it definitely helped. But basically, what I'm trying to say is, that was a little tangent, but Chadwick played some important, iconic roles. Not only was he just good in them, he nailed it. You know, there's something to be said about, you know, there's a certain grace that comes with having to be, you know, in an iconic role like that. You know, I mean, like, not just anybody could have been Jackie Robinson in a movie about him. You know, they really had to get someone who was capable of portraying him properly, because he is so important, and that movie would be culturally important. You know, they couldn't just get anybody to be Black Panther, because they knew that A, he was going to be a cornerstone of the MCU going forward, and B, that movie was going to be important. You know, not from a thematic or plot standpoint of the MCU, just from a cultural standpoint. It was going to be a massively important movie, and it was. It brought a lot of people hope, and I think that's mainly the thing we're going to miss the most, is just kind of missing that beacon of light from Chadwick's just charisma and charm and just everything like that. And I remember a couple months ago, you know, Chadwick posted a picture and he looked a little skinny and skinnier and not as healthy, and a lot of people were making fun of him, you know, but nobody knew that he had colon cancer. And the fact that he was able to film Civil War, Black Panther, Infinity War and Endgame, 21 Bridges, and The Five Bloods, who are two action thrillers, and then 6 high-profile action movies with a lot of physical, grueling, demanding work, all while battling colon cancer in between going to treatment and stuff, is absolutely insane. Definitely one of the most impressive and remarkable things I've ever heard of. And I think that just goes to show his strength and determination, and I think that's mainly what we're going to miss from him. I was super excited to watch him be the lead in the future of the MCU, and I know he as a character and as a person are a lot more important to other people than maybe he is to me, and so I think that's why we're all just super sad. It's just because he, to a lot of people, was someone they could look up to, He was their king. He was their icon. He was someone that brought them a lot of hope. And that's always tough whenever you lose that. Thank you for checking out today's video. Make sure to keep Chadwick Boseman's family in his prayers. Please don't say anything insensitive on the internet. We really don't want that at this time and place. And just make sure to keep your loved ones close to you, because you never know what will happen. And just be kind to people, because you have no idea what kind of battles they're battling behind closed doors. Thank you.